Ladies and gentlemen, we want you to stand and we want you to make some noise.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's go racing here at Knoxville.
Only the best go three abreast.
It is show time at Williams Grove Speedway.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here at Eldora Speedway, it's showtime!
You got them for a breath. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the world of outlaws.
It's time to sit back, relax, and enjoy because, ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime!
Set to do battle for 30 laps. The green flag is waving.
Hello again. It is Wing Nation presented by Sage Fruit. Talking sprint car racing, our favorite time of the week, and we are so glad that you have joined us. Steve Post joined by the return of Erin Evernham. How are you? Welcome back.
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic, fantastic. Erin was on special assignment last week.
Yes.
We appreciate Justin Fiedler sitting in. You're going to be on special assignment for the next couple of weeks, too.
Yeah, it's tough time of year. All that
brutal
traveling.
brutal time. I'm in the same boat with kids and family and holidays. Well, we have a holiday coming up.
Well, you had a big birthday this week.
That was all out there. Yeah, I mean, it was crazy stuff. So it's all good. It's all good. But, we appreciate Justin Fiedler filling in, and Justin does a great job. And we're back at it. And, boy, one thing that's not taking a holiday is the volume of sprint car racing.
I was just thinking that. I was in Florida this past week, and all it did was rain. And I look and, racing happened everywhere around the country this weekend.
Well, I made bad decisions over the last couple of weeks. And I had things going on where initially I was going to go to a few days of Ohio Speed Week. And then that was kind of like, well, I'm not sure I can do that. And then, well, maybe I'll go to Pennsylvania Speed Week. Well, I'm not sure I do that. I'm just going to stay close to home.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I did get Millbridge in this past weekend, but this coming week, I'm close to home, and already tonight's plan with the summer shootout. I was going to go to Southern National on Thursday. That's been rained out, and I'm waiting to hear on Friday.
Yeah, the weather around here this week is
it's just not good at all.
A little crazy.
So not good at all, but the good news is we've got sprint cars all over the country, and let's get right into it. Our Hefner Racing product hot topics. All-Star Circuit of Champions, what is it, Tuesday now? They're probably caught up a little bit on their rest and everything.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ohio Speed Week wrapped up with the Dean Niddle Memorial. I'm wearing my Dean Niddle shirt. Jeff, his son, sent me this shirt. I love it. I love what they do, what he does for this. I mean, not only was it $22,554 to win, but there's so much money all the way through, lap money and everything. I mean, it's $800 if you finish 8th in the B main and do the hokey pokey on the front stretch. I mean, it's just like Jeff is so good at that. And what always cracks me up about it is that we're on Tuesday and he's already in day 3 of building next year's event. He's already put to the purse and everything else.
And that's what makes it a great event.
That's what it really does. And then you throw in the racing. Oh my gosh, that was bonkers.
That was.
4 different drivers leading. Brent Marks, second straight year he's won this race. But and it wrapped up Speed Weeks. Tyler, and again with flat tires and people dropping out and everything, this went right down. They had to actually do the math, and it came out to a tie. Tyler Courtney and Buddy Kofoid. Buddy is in the Vermeer 55, first runs in that car, and he goes out. Courtney won the tiebreaker, and he won it on the basis of that messy night at Wayne County when they opted to make it just show up points when the track was really bad. Tyler Courtney opted to race and win that night, and that gave him the tiebreaker.
Huh.
That fascinates me, the way that played out. And it fascinates me in a good way, bad way. I don't know what happened at Wayne. I mean, I don't know, but it's ironic to me that the tiebreaker was a win, and Sunshine's the only win between the two of them was Sunshine, and it was at Wayne County that night. That was a rough night.
Yeah.
So get out there and go, because that might, if he doesn't get that, I don't know how it all breaks down after that. 6 races were completed of the 8. I love this. Courtney won at Wayne County. Brent Marks won. Zeb Wise, Danny Dietrich, Tim Schaefer,
our good buddy,
and Sam Haferteep Jr. Sam won
at Eldora.
And which just kind of dropped in, and we know Sam's like a world-class racer, but it's not been world-class results lately.
Yeah.
And then you just drop into Eldora on the final tune-up before the million and just park it on the front stretch. Now, Rico was being Rico and had a flat tire.
Yeah.
But still,
yeah.
And Schaefer winning, I as soon as I saw this, I died. I died because my one and only trip to Atomic ended up staying in the same hotel that Tim Schaefer did. He was driving Tony Stewart's 14 car.
Oh,
They were
yeah.
on an R&D
And you're
mission with a
speaking
Ford engine.
Aliquippa by the end of the
Well, yes. We met at an Applebee's in the parking lot, and Tim somehow convinced the woman tending bar to sell us a 12-pack of beer, and we proceeded to drain that 12-pack in the parking lot between there and the hotel that was right there. And we were speaking Aliquippa, and I love Tim Schaefer to death, and I was so happy to see him. A great article in Area Auto Racing News about Tim from a week or two back. Lenny Sammons did a great article on how Tim, it's been a little bit rough sledding, but he's with Brian Grove, and they feel like they got some momentum going, and that was before this win. And so love it. Absolutely love it. So All-Stars, great job with your Speed Week for sure. King of the West Series, the fastest 4-day in motorsports, Thursday through Saturday. This was all Corey Day. We're going to talk to Corey on the program. He won 3 of the 4 races up through Oregon and up until Washington.
He's on fire.
Yeah, he's on fire. He really is. And they're racing just a one-off race tonight at Skagit, a tune-up race tonight at Skagit.
Yeah.
And then they get into the Dirt
Cup
Cup this coming weekend, $62,000 to win. So we'll talk to Corey Day here on the program. World of Outlaw, NOS Energy Drink, Sprint Cars, the Jim J.B. Boyd Memorial. Friday night, Gio Scelzi survived a last-lap slider by David Gravel to get his win, first win of his rookie season. Saturday night, it was Sheldon. Sheldon is 4 for 5 at Beaver Dam.
It's impressive.
Yeah, it really is. 33rd career victory. It was a $20,000 win. And it's been a weird year for Sheldon.
Yeah.
Because you could take the results and list, and there's some nights you start here and some nights you start there.
Yeah.
And it's just, now it's going to be interesting because last year he won at Huset's on the big night. He could turn things around in a big way. That was a great race.
That was amazing.
Yeah. So he could turn things around in a great way, although he picked up the win. It's like turn things around, and it's weird. It depends on the night with Sheldon. And I love this, and we're going to talk to Doug Johnson a lot about the Huset High Bay, but their tracks were part of something this week, the border battle, and I love that these tracks did this, non-sanctioned, just race. Friday night, Minnesota, Jackson. Saturday night, Knoxville, Iowa. Sunday, Huset, South Dakota, $10,000 to win each race.
I like that.
I really like that a lot, and I'm going to ask Doug about that, even though we want to talk about the high banks because Jackson and Huset are Todd and his tracks.
Yeah.
Mark Dobmeyer, Davey Heskin, and Ayrton Jennett won, so the money got spread around too pretty good. And our buddy Dobmeyer goes over there to Jackson and takes the money, doesn't he? And this story is just great. I saw Jeremy Elliott did an interview with Troy Wagaman Jr. Got a call about 10 days ago from Mike Hefner to jump in the number 27 car.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Or 72 car. 72 car, right?
72 now,
72 car, yeah. First race out was Lincoln. June 10th, he finished second. Rolls into Williams Grove this past Friday night, wins, first career win at Williams Grove, goes back to Lincoln and finishes 4th on Saturday night.
Not shabby.
And his interview with Jeremy, he says, if they'll have me back. And it's like, Mike Hefner, you get second, first, and fourth. Mike Hefner is likely to have you back, son. They're actually, because then you get into they're going to be wanting to watch Speed Weeks. Troy and his father and a crew chief are managing this. They all have real jobs, and despite the temptation, they are sticking to what their original plan for Speed Week was, with I think 4 of the races. Mm-hmm. 2 Lincolns, 1 Williams Grove, 1 Port, or 5 maybe, 2 Williams Grove, whatever it is. But really, really cool story. I love seeing that. First time winner up at Williams Grove. When you get one there, you've accomplished something. Mm-hmm. So there you have it. Our Hefner Racing product. Hot topics. Hefner Racing Products, an easy-to-shop website. Yeah, their website is fantastic. www.hrpracing.com. From desktop to right on your phone. And, Erin, they've got a deal.
They sure do. First-time online orders, use promo code MRN at checkout for 10% off your first order.
So there you have it. Hefner Racing Products, www.hrpracing.com. And I know my buddy Jeff and everybody from there rolled the red carpet out for the World of Outlaws all last week up in Wisconsin. Yeah. It was really cool to see. Jeff had some stuff with some of the teams stopping by and restocking their wings and restocking their trailers and getting all the latest gizmos and gadgets that they have up there. They do a great job. So HRP Racing Products. All right, so Doug Johnson coming up later in the program. Corey Day joins us on the Sage Fruit Hotline next. The Outlaws are headed back to the Pacific Northwest. Join us for 3 action-packed nights of racing August 31st, September 1st and 2nd at Skagit Speedway when the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars return for the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals. Kickoff for the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals begins Wednesday, August 30th with a pre-race party, live band, Sage Fruit apple giveaways, and more. Then catch Donnie Schatz and the rest of the World of Outlaws as they take on Washington's best sprint car drivers Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. Details at SkagitSpeedway.com.
Dirt Empire Magazine is the ultimate dirt track racing only magazine in the world, featuring interviews, opinions, event photos, tech, and 100% racing action. Each issue includes late models, modified sprint cars, and more. Big event photos from the best photographers in the sport, and great one-on-one interviews with the top drivers as well as grassroots racers. Pick up a copy of Dirt Empire Magazine today at select Tractor Supply stores or other area retailers, or get your subscription today at DirtEmpireMagazine.com.
Man, oh man, we have talked about this. We had Jim Allen on last week. Justin and I had Jim Allen on, and he talked about the fastest 4 days in motorsports and really talked about all of the great things happening in California and on the West Coast. We've fallen in the category of calling this California, but now we need to move it to West Coast because what's happening up north is good as well. And joining us from up north is a man who had a really, really, really good fastest 4 days in motorsports, 3 wins and a second-place finish. Corey Day joins us on the Sage Fruit Hotline. Hello, Corey. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
We are well. We are well. It has to be to roll into new places, new towns, 4 straight nights, do so well. It's got to be very rewarding as a young race car driver.
Yeah, it definitely is. We've been a little bit cold to say the least. The past, I'd say, month. We started off the year really good, and just been ran second, didn't run good one night at Placerville, and we just kind of struggled a little bit, but we got to go to the Midwest and run a high limit race and run to Knoxville at the Outlaws for 2 nights, and I think that that just really helps coming back out west when you get to race on those guys' level out there, and you got to get your car a lot better too. So you come back home and the places that you're a little more comfortable with, and you kind of just can just roll around better, and run a faster pace because you're used to what the outlaw guys and those guys out there are running.
Yeah, absolutely, Corey. Every driver we talk to about whether it's Pennsylvania Midwest, when they go run with the Outlaws for a bit and come home, there's always that little extra level or level of pace. Corey, in your interviews in Victory Lane, I guess 3 of the 4 nights, you give a lot of credit to Shane Bowers. I wanted to talk about your relationship with him and how you guys have really started to click. And he has such a long list of experience. I know he's been on the tour with the Outlaws. And what is that like? What is that relationship like with him, and how has that helped you?
I definitely think it's helped me a lot. Like you said, with Shane's his experience with being on the road for a long time, and just his knowledge of a race car is crucial. And our relationship's really good. We hang out. I go to the shop and hang out, and we spend time together and do stuff together. So it's more of a friendship than just a driver and crew chief. So I definitely give a lot of credit to him, because there's nights where I gotta make up for a little bit of the race car, but those nights are few, and that thing's always it's been really, really good this year, and it makes my job really easy when that thing's as good as it's been. So definitely try and give credit to Shane.
Well, and I find that fascinating. It kind of dovetails into where I want to go and talk to a little bit as well. You've got Shane there, and he's in the here and now. He's the setup guy in the car. He's that guy that you and him working on the cars. You're at the shop, that brotherhood that you kind of described there. But then also you have 2 other guys, your dad, Ronnie, and
Yeah.
Jason Myers that you can lean on as well. It has to be good to have not only the here and now with Shane, but a lot of depth of historical knowledge to lean on also.
Yeah, it definitely is. Without my dad and Jason being there my whole career, I probably wouldn't be where I am now. I always say, my learning curve has probably been sped up by 3 or 4 years at least with those two guys in my corner my whole career. So, it's pretty cool to me that I can run the 14 and we can go win and do all this stuff, and then I can still go run, my family car with my dad. And, it could have been a year since we raced, but him and I just raced together for so long that we can just, go race one night and usually click off a win or run top 3. So, it's definitely cool that to have my dad, who is, my crew chief on that car, and he's my driver coach too. He's pretty much everything, and it's cool to have him there with at the races every night alongside with Shane as well, because they kind of get to bounce ideas off each other, and we all just work together and make it happen.
Well, combination. Corey, we talk a lot on the show about how the West Coast sprint car scene is just so competitive, and it seems to be on the climb. I know you're fairly young and new to all of this, but what is the feel and the excitement like to have something like the fastest 4 nights and a new little speed week for you guys?
It's really cool. The only speed week I've ever ran is back in micros. We had California Speed Week, and then I ran the Fast 4 Days used to be in California in 2021. I ran it with Carlton, but I didn't run it last year, so it was cool to get up here and run 4 nights back to back, and you get a little burnout, but racing back to back like that, you get your car better, and you learn things about racetracks and things you can do with the race car that you would have never known if you just raced every other weekend. So it was late nights all week, drive to the track or car wash and then drive to the track, and but it was definitely all worth it. It was cool to have success like we did, especially I'd never been to Southern Oregon and I'd never been to Roseburg. Both those places turned out really good, especially Roseburg. I gave credit in my interview, but I'll give credit again. Those guys, they had the track really good for, I think it was only their 6th or 7th race. It took a little bit of rubber around the bottom, but for, like I said, for only the 6th or 7th race at that place, those guys got the track, really, really good for 410 sprint cars, I think. So, definitely a lot of credit to them for getting that thing, raceable for us. I'd been to Willamette or Willamette, however you say it.
Yeah, that was a debate, and I have no idea what the answer is. So
yeah, I don't know either, but I'd been to that place, and in 2021, they ran we went and ran, my dad and I and our family car went and ran the Oregon 360 Speed Week, and that place was on the list. And I'd also ran Grace Harbor last year with the Outlaws, so get back to places I was somewhat familiar with was cool too. Well, the Willamette really didn't turn out as great as it should have, I feel, but Grace Harbor was really, really good and racy, and it was just cool to get to different places.
no doubt, that sounds like it. And up there in Roseburg, that's an old asphalt track. They used to run NASCAR West Series races and everything, and they made it a dirt track. And boy, I'll tell you what, that was really cool. All American Speedway, they've done a really nice job there. So I'm glad you mentioned it, Corey, and want to give them an attaboy. Okay, so now you've been to 4 different racetracks in 4 nights. Now, over the next 5 nights, you're going to be at 1 racetrack. Hopefully tonight, I know you're getting some weather out there, Skagit, and then you roll into the Dirt Cup. Just tell me about your past at Skagit, getting at 1 racetrack, and gearing up for the biggest race on the West Coast coming up this weekend.
Yeah, getting tonight in would definitely be ideal. I don't know if it's gonna happen or not, but with these new tires this year and I think they've done a little bit of work to the surface at Skagit and put some new clay on it and maybe rebanked it. So, we'll just have to see how we go there. I don't know. We've been good there. Like last year, Dirt Cup, they ran a Tuesday night race like they're doing this year, and we were really good. Didn't beat the 57, but no one could all week. But I feel we were really good car wise, and then we kind of just struggled as the week went on, and same thing at the Outlaw Show in September there last year. So I'm hoping this year we kind of figure it out a little more and get things better, and yeah, definitely tonight would be ideal to get in, but I don't think it's gonna happen. It's raining pretty hard here, so we'll just have to roll in there on Thursday and hopefully have a fast race car as soon as we unload.
Well, if recent memory is any indication, you guys are pretty good on that as well. Corey, we appreciate the time. We love watching your story, love watching you develop as a young race car driver. Can't wait to see what you have this weekend and on throughout the balance of the season. Thanks for joining us here on Wing Nation.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
There we go. Corey Day joining us here on the program. Had a chance. I went out and saw King of the West at Ocean Speedway last year because I was out at Sonoma. Yeah. And boy, I'm telling you what, he mentions his dad. Man, in talking with Ronnie, there's only one word to describe it, and that's proud.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so neat chatting with him and just watching him watch his boy. And I love that they get a chance to race together some.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great. Ronnie is there a lot of times with, or if not all the time, with Jason's program, with their program. But then when they do their own deal, too, I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
And good stuff. And, man, Corey Day, woo, jot that name down, folks. Jot that name down. It is something to watch for sure. We need to step away. When we come back, our good buddy Doug Johnson joins us from up in Huset and Jackson. The Outlaws are headed back to the Pacific Northwest. Join us for 3 action-packed nights of racing August 31st, September 1st and 2nd at Skagit Speedway when the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars return for the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals. Kickoff for the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals begins Wednesday, August 30th with a pre-race party, live band, Sage Fruit apple giveaways, and more. Then catch Donnie Schatz and the rest of the World of Outlaws as they take on Washington's best sprint car drivers Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. Details at SkagitSpeedway.com.
The National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum's newest exhibit will be our track tribute to Williams Grove Speedway inside the museum's main floor from April 3rd through October 2nd this year. You'll learn about the beginning of Williams Grove Speedway and the evolution of sprint car racing on the East Coast through 8 of the iconic big cars and sprint cars that made up the history of Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania's Williams Grove Speedway. Plus, you'll see videos of historic National Open sprint car races and other racing events that put Williams Grove on the map. That's the track tribute to Williams Grove Speedway, featured April 3rd through October 2nd at the only museum in the world solely dedicated to sprint car racing, the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum in Knoxville, Iowa.
Welcome back. It is Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit. Let's go back to the Sage Fruit hotline. A man who is putting together one of the biggest parties in sprint car racing, coming off a pretty good weekend as well. A buddy from up at Huset and Jackson, Doug Johnson, joins us. Hello, Doug. How are you?
I'm great, guys. How are you doing?
We are doing well. Doug, we are going to talk a lot about Huset's High Banks, but I think last weekend what you guys did with this border, border battle between Jackson, then down to Knoxville, and back up to your Husets. Man, what was the reaction to that? Because I love seeing it from sitting here afar.
Well, I think it was very positive. 410 sprint car racing in Jackson, that seems to draw people. We've struggled there with, some of our 360 shows and IMCA shows, but we had a great crowd. I thought we'd have a few more 410s, but, there's just a lot going on right now. And we had really quality cars, at Jackson on Friday night, and Mark Dobmeyer came away with a $10,000 win there. And, and then the guys got to race at Knoxville for $10,000 to win, and then come back to Huset on Sunday night for another $10,000 to win. our crowds are great all weekend, and we're already planning. I've been talking to John McCoy and Jason Reed here for the last month or so at Knoxville, and I'm going to kind of let the cat out of the bag, but I think what we're trying to do is try and get about 3 of those scheduled for next year.
Wow.
Where we would do Jackson, Knoxville, Huset, maybe once a month. And I think it would, if we could get the money up like it was and, have the turnout like we did, these guys can race here. They don't have to travel. They can sleep in their own bed and race for really good money, and that's kind of our goal. And, I think this year was kind of a test. And like I said, I've been talking to Knoxville pretty extensively on this. And, and we're working on some sponsorship deals to make it a little bit more lucrative for the teams and have maybe an overall point fund, something like that. So we got some things in the works that I think we're hoping to announce here, close to the end of the season, and so people can start planning for next year.
Holy cow! I'm glad I went off glad I went off script and asked about that, because I just think that I think it's great what you have this weekend coming up. The richest purse in the history of the World of Outlaws, and everybody's coming, and that's great. But I also think it's great that your local racers there, and we talk about this in Pennsylvania, we've talked about it on the West Coast. It is really, really great. So kudos to you guys for that. I think that's awesome, and I can't wait to hear how this thing goes. All right, but now. This weekend, okay? I mean, you got the concession stands all lined up. You got the grass all mowed. Is everything ready to go at Huset's?
It's pretty close. We're painting the walls right now as we speak. Everything will be shined up and looking pristine when everybody shows up here tomorrow. But, we still got some work to do. We got a fan fest coming up here this afternoon. We got inflatables for the kids. And, a lot of the drivers are heading to the golf tournament. The golf tournament's starting here in a little bit, and we've got quite a few teams and fans playing in that. So, like you said, we're just trying to make this a big event and give people something to do and, get the drivers involved. I think right now, we got 8 or 10 drivers that are playing in this. So that's really cool that, fans get to golf with a World of Outlaws sprint car driver. And, so yeah, we're close. We just got a few little touch-up things to do yet, but it's coming along really nice.
Doug, what is this all like for you as a promoter? We got to know you years back when you first took over Jackson, when Todd bought it, and you brought that place from, I don't even want to say what I remember it from 15 years ago, to this beautiful facility, to the Jackson Nationals. Now you're at Huset's as well, and you have the High Bank Nationals with the richest person in World of Outlaw history. What is it like for you personally to go through this and to be at the level you're at now as a promoter?
It's very, I would say, very, very satisfying. It's a lot of hard work, but like I told, Todd and these other guys, we couldn't do it without great people around us. We've got an awesome staff here at Huset. We've got an awesome team, that in the office and at Jackson, and it wouldn't be possible without all of that, and, somebody asked just like, well, what do we have to do to get a job at Huset? And I keep telling people, we don't have a lot of turnover. Very little turnover even from Jackson, in the 8 years now that I've been running that. It's, a lot of the same people year after year, and you get that stability built, and it just, everybody knows what their job is. There's no gray area. I mean, they come, they do their job, and we all do well and succeed and move on. And that's what it's all about, is having good people around you. So, it's really cool to see, like I said, the highest paying sprint car race in World of Outlaw history, in my backyard this is where I grew up going to races, and it's going to be really cool to see here this weekend.
Doug, I think another thing about this, and Todd had talked about this last year, whether it was on stage there or somewhere, he had talked about this. Big paying sprint car races happen at half miles. Knoxville, Eldora, Williams Grove, Port Royal. Wait a minute. At a bull ring. How important is that for you guys as well?
Well, I think it's huge, and I think it really levels the playing field. The guys don't have to come in here with a killer motor like you do, say, at maybe a Knoxville or a Williams Grove. And I think it gives our local guys, a fighting chance, and especially with our format, with a 6 invert that we're doing on the qualifying nights, and it just gives these local guys that aren't professional racers, a chance to compete. They don't have to you still need the motor. Don't get me wrong, but if you can qualify well, even like say on our little bull ring and set yourself up for the rest of the night, it goes for a long, long ways. And I think that's the key right now is just to give these guys that don't race professionally, that race around here for our weekly shows, a chance. To know that they can compete, I think is huge to keep building. Our local teams. I mean, we're in our third full season now with 410 racing here at Huset, and our numbers this year. I mean, I think we've had one night where we've been under 30 cars. So that's shows how strong our weekly field is too.
Doug, we've talked a lot about the record purse, but we haven't talked about how last year's race ended. To me, it was arguably one of the best races ever. What have the numbers been like this year? Have you seen an increase in motorhomes and pre-sales, and what has that been like? Because to me, it's one on the calendar that everyone has circled now.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely correct there. And I mean, our ticket sales have been phenomenal. Our campground is now sold out again after we added 20 more sites here just a couple weeks ago. And Todd and I and our whole team we're talking and looking, where we can add more camping. He's got some property across to the west of the Speedway now that he acquired about a year ago, and we're looking to develop that and make that into parking and eventually camping as well. So this. Just the continued growth, I think, that we've seen after last year's event, knowing that we can get more people in here. And, eventually, I think if we can get to a point where we can sell this out, I mean, Todd will definitely spend the money to put in more bleachers, and more stands. So that's the cool thing about working for a guy like him. He's going to continue to invest in this facility and this event and everything just to make it bigger and better. And that's what keeps me going every day.
I can imagine. What a thrill. What a thrill, that's for sure. Final question for you, and more important than all of that, more important than the border battle, more important than the High Banks National, how is your son Caleb's racing going?
He started off really well, and they've had some motor problems that have kind of set him back here the last couple weeks. Yep. And, he's concentrating more on 410 stuff. They still got one 360 and they ran a show at Jackson and going to run a few of the bigger 360 shows coming up, but I told them that it's a sophomore blues of coming here second season, and you got to fight through it, and he's bound determined to keep running Knoxville and Huset's weekly and get laps, and the cool thing is he's doing it on his own with his buddies, and they're learning along the way, and I don't have time anymore to really help him out with the race car stuff. I mean, but just to see him grow as a driver and as a person, it's really cool to see your son be able to do that and live out his dream. And I know eventually he wanted to maybe do this as a career, but it's come to the realization that he's got a pretty good job in Sioux Falls, and that pays the bills, and the racing is kind of more of a hobby now, and he's making the most of it.
I love it. I love it. We've enjoyed so much. We getting to meet him through meeting you, and it's kind of like we've been following his journey as well. It's like a surrogate son as well, just following along with him. Well, Doug, I'll tell you, we're going to miss being up there this year. We really have always enjoyed it. We're going to be following along on Dirt Vision, and we certainly wish you the best with all the festivities, all the events, and all the racing action. And thanks for joining us here on Wing Nation.
You bet. We're going to miss you guys, and hopefully we get you back soon, and hope to talk to you soon.
That's it. Sounds good. Thanks, Doug. Doug Johnson joining us there on the program. What a show that is going to be. Man, I'll tell you what, I cannot imagine how bonkers that's going to be. After last year's race with Sheldon, I mean, that was
I love that racetrack.
Yeah,
and
that racetrack.
It is like, I mean, it's cliche, but it's so cool to see where it was, 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
To now it's one of the biggest races in the country.
I mean, it's and then you even hear that border battle.
Yeah.
To talking about 3 or 4 times or once a month. It's like, man, oh man, what Todd and Doug and everybody have done up there is unreal. We know, the thing of it is we know Knoxville is Knoxville, but when you had Jackson not around and Huset's in and out with that crazy guy that was running it before Todd and everything else, you had Knoxville kind of on an island. And now this is just lifting everything up out there.
Because a lot of people used to go and spend the summer in Knoxville and run Huset Sunday. And then when Huset's kind of went away, some people weren't interested in going just for
one night a
Knoxville.
week.
Yeah. So
And
now
you look at this. Now you look at this. They do the border battle. And to his point, Friday night, I was listening to Justin Fiedler. World of Outlaws at Beaver Dam had 24 cars on Friday night because there was a lot going on.
Yeah.
You had in the region, you had World of Outlaws at Beaver Dam. You had the big race at Jackson. Well,
and then you had Ohio Speed Week
there. You didn't draw anybody out of that area. There was a couple other 410 races down in the Missouri area. And so I think that's great. But I think what also happens is like you take this battle of the border and you make it 3 or 4 times a year, all of a sudden you start to suck some cars out of the other areas, the fringes of the Midwest.
Yeah.
It's so exciting what's happening there. It really, truly is. So we appreciate Doug joining us here on the program. We need to step away. More Wing Nation in just a moment. The Outlaws are headed back to the Pacific Northwest. Join us for 3 action-packed nights of racing August 31st, September 1st and 2nd at Skagit Speedway when the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars return for the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals. Kickoff for the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals begins Wednesday, August 30th with a pre-race party, live band, Sage Fruit apple giveaways, and more. Then catch Donnie Schatz and the rest of the World of Outlaws as they take on Washington's best sprint car drivers Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. Details at SkagitSpeedway.com.
Dirt Empire Magazine is the ultimate dirt track racing only magazine in the world, featuring interviews, opinions, event photos, tech, and 100% racing action. Each issue includes late models, modified, sprint cars, and more. Big event photos from the best photographers in the sport, and great one-on-one interviews with the top drivers as well as grassroots racers. Pick up a copy of Dirt Empire Magazine today at select Tractor Supply stores or other area retailers, or get your subscription today at dirtempiremagazine.com.
Man, oh man.
Empire Magazine is the ultimate dirt track racing only magazine in the world.
Oh, I'm talking over a commercial. There we go. Gregor mashed the button. There we go. Mashed the right button. It is all good. I'm telling you what, I am so pumped about the sprint car, what we're seeing in the sprint car world right now. It's so good right now with everything from West Coast, Pennsylvania. If we haven't, God forbid, we haven't talked about Central Pennsylvania in a week and a half. Guess what's coming up?
Yeah.
Speed Weeks, where someone will do something stupid. And we will, the interwebs and the social medias and the Twitter machines will blow up. By Saturday afternoon at 2:00, it'll be in fuego. It's crazy. So I love where we're at with the sprint car world. And it's like you have this region and, oh, yeah, you think this region is good. Look at this region. And, oh, you think this region is good. Look at this region. And, boy, what it's doing is it's building everybody up. You throw in high limits, some midweek races. You got the World of Outlaws is just knocking it out. I mean, if you were to say, I'm going to sit down and watch a bad World of Outlaw race, they would have to refund you the money. They would just have to say, we can't sell you a bad race.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just been that good.
It's true.
The racing has been so good. It's great stuff. National Sprint Car Hall of Fame birthday calendar later this week. Your buddy, Speedy Bill Smith, Billy Wilkinson, Doug Auld. Today would have been the birthday of 2003 inductee Clarence Mutt Anderson. He was born in 1950. He started racing motorcycles, but that was too dangerous. So he went to roadsters and sprint cars. He owned a lot of cars. Listen to this list of drivers. A.J. Foyt, Bobby Unser, Johnny Rutherford, Bill Vukovich, Roger McCluskey. That ain't a bad list of guys to shoe your cars. With McCluskey, they were the 1966 National Midget Champion. Then he went to work for Andy Granatelli in Indy Cars and also worked as a NASCAR USAC technical inspector. And he is a member of the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum, one sprint car place in Knoxville, Iowa. All right. Talked a lot about this one with Doug. The World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars, the second annual BillionAuto.com Huset's High Banks Nationals presented by Menards. This just, as much as we're talking about the $250,000, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, $20,000 to win shows.
Prelim night.
Prelim night. $20,000 to win a prelim night. I just won that little prelim night. That you take that $20,000 to the bank. You know what I mean? And then Saturday, $250,000 to win. And I just think this is great. We just talked to Corey Day, NARC King of the West, the Jim Raper Memorial Dirt Cup at Skagit, Thursday and Friday, prelim nights. Saturday, $62,000 to win. Okay? 3 years ago, we're watching Jim Allen and Brent Kading and these guys roll with this King of the West series and say, guess what, guys? In 3 years' time, you're going to have a race that pays $62,000 to win.
Yeah.
There ain't no way on the planet anyone's buying that. No way on the planet anyone's buying that. And now they have it. And granted, it's tied into Skagit because they've all got involved and got up there. And this is bonkers what's happening out there. Going to be a great field of cars, all the West Coast stars. I know Zeb Wise is headed out there. Of course, he drives Kevin Rudin's car, the Rudin car, and Kevin's involved out there. But to Kevin and Peter Murphy and Brent Kading and Jim Allen and everybody out there, a tip of the cap.
Yes.
I mean, I hope that at 4 o'clock on Saturday afternoon, they're having to tell people at Skagit, sorry, we've got standing room only seats, that sort of thing. I just want this thing to be so successful for everybody involved out there, and especially the racers, no doubt. And then we just referenced this. Oh, here we go. Pennsylvania Speed Weeks. Friday night, Williams Grove, $8,000 to win. Saturday night, the Kevin Gobrecht Memorial, $10,092 to win at Lincoln. Sunday at Baps, Monday at Lincoln, Tuesday at Grandview, and we'll get through the rest of it.
Because we'll be back on
Because we'll be back on the air before this thing ends. They're running 11 nights. They're running through, because the way the 4th falls, Port Royal ends it on the 3rd, next Monday. So Friday, it's usually, a lot of times they'll go Friday to Saturday or Friday to Sunday. Pennsylvania's going Friday to Monday. Of course. Yeah, well, of course, exactly. Sealands Grove has a date in there. I mean, and then I was reading this in Area Auto Racing News. It's like we mentioned $8,000 to win and $8,000 to win at Bass. I think there's 3 $8,000 to win races, and everything is north of that. There's a 15, there's a 20. There is all kinds of bonus money. I mean, they have the Alan Kreitzer and his group. I mean, they have gone to every business in central Pennsylvania, and everything from a soda pop to a couple grand.
Yeah.
Everybody is involved in this thing, and it's going to be just berserk. It really is. And we know it's central Pennsylvania, so there's going to be the invader crowd coming in. We know somebody's going to do something stupid, which is going to get Danny Dietrich on social media, and it might be Danny doing something stupid, which will get him on social media, and that's all right. Love Danny. They're going to get on social media, and I said 2 o'clock on Saturday, there's other races. By 2 o'clock on Monday, the sprint car world as we know it will be on fire with, did you see what happened at Baps? Did you see what happened at Lincoln? What's going to happen tonight?
Yeah.
Because they weave a story in Pennsylvania better than anybody else.
There's always a good video coming out of a pit area incident.
Exactly. I mean, Pennsylvania Speed Week is just, I swear to God, I need to check on this. I played the lottery yesterday, and I played the lottery again today. If I won the lottery, I won't be here next week. I'm going to rent a bus and just go do Pennsylvania Speed Week. Because I'm telling you, I cannot imagine more fun. And I know there's a lot of people doing it.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of people doing it. I cannot imagine more fun than just picking up and bouncing from track to track and getting absorbed in sprint car racing and not paying attention to anything else in the world. And just going and doing and racetrack food and cold beers afterward and lousy breakfast the next morning and get ready to go do it again. I mean, it just sounds spectacular.
Steve, I've got a better idea.
What's that, Krager?
So if you win the lottery,
yes,
and instead of just bouncing around to track, I think that we start a team. We've got a driver there as your co-host.
Oh, geez.
You buy the car, pay a lot of money to a good crew chief.
That's a lot of work.
And let's do it.
Krager, that's a lot of work.
Come on, with all these payouts, though, come on.
It's too much work, though, Craig.
No, we don't need the payouts. He won the lottery.
No, we just need to keep the cooler stocked is all we need to do. That's all.
That'll be my job. That's my job.
Well, it's fine. You're welcome to come along as well. Then that makes my job half easier.
You drive the motorhome.
Yeah. I'll drive the motorhome, stock the beer.
And you you cook the grill.
And okay, fine.
Well, Krager's a good cook.
Okay, I'm good with that.
No, Krager, I don't want to poo-poo your idea about the sprint car team, but I certainly would encourage you to participate in other roles. We don't need the sprint car team. That's work.
We could put your face on the wing.
No, we don't need that.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
We're trying to get people in the stands, not run people out of the stands, Craig. Jeez, God. I mean, we got kids at these racetracks. We don't want to scare the damn kids.
True.
Yeah,
all right, fine.
Exactly. So, Ixnay on the team, yeah, boy, on the cooler and grill.
Yeah.
So there you go, Krager. Okay, we'll take care of it. We're good. Now that we got that solved, there's only one little detail missing, that lottery ticket. It is going to be good. Pennsylvania Speed Week is just, It is I said yesterday on the show, Ashley and I recorded a show yesterday, the high holy days of sprint car racing is headed to central Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Because it is just, and the thing of it is you just don't know what's going to happen.
No.
Which is why you tune in. I mean, someone new is going to win, someone old's going to get hot, someone old is going to struggle. Two guys that like each other are going to get into a fight. Two guys that hate each other are going to be agreeing that the promoter screwed him on something. I mean, it's just going to be beautiful is what it's going to be. It's going to be beautiful. Pennsylvania Speedway starts Friday night at Williams Grove Speedway. All right. Man, oh man, I'm pumped up about it. I'm going to check the lottery pick. I did play last night too, by the way. Didn't look at the numbers.
Could be the winner. You could be sitting on it right
I
now.
could be sitting right now. I could be sitting right here, right now. And instead of sipping water out of this age fruit cup, be sipping straight vodka. That's right, exactly. Straight vodka. This week, oh my gosh, on our Wing Nation program presented by Sage Fruit, AJ Flick, and he was spectacular. Talked about roller coasters, turtles, and race cars.
Interesting.
He was so good. That is coming up. That is Wednesday night on Rev, 8:30 p.m., Friday on Mav, 12:30 p.m., and just really, really good stuff. Now, speaking of the High Holy Days, the High Holy Days of T-shirt sales is coming up as well because Justin Peck and Tom Book Motorsports are going to be doing the whole thing. ShopWingNation.com, or you can see them wherever they go racing, and they go racing a lot. So you can get your Wing Nation gear, no doubt. So fun stuff, fun show, that's for sure. Man, I love Corey Day's story, and just such a cool guy. And then our buddy Doug Johnson, really, really good stuff.
Very good.
Good stuff. You travel well over the next couple of weeks. It'll be a couple weeks before you're back. We have a holiday in there, so we're trying to figure out what we're going to do on the 4th of July. And that'll be the day after Speed Weeks. We'll probably be just mocking the rubble that is Central Pennsylvania sprint car world and debriefing on that. But we're looking forward to some great stuff coming up in the sprint car world. She's Erin Evernham. I'm Steve Post, and we appreciate you for joining us this time on Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit.